Welcome. Explore history's captivating killers and thieves. Subscribe, like, and share to join our thrilling journey. Ever wondered who the most ingenious bank robber in history was? His name was Willie Sutton. Born in the bustling borough of Brooklyn in 1901, Sutton was not your typical youngster. From an early age, he showed a peculiar interest in crime, a curiosity that went beyond the occasional mischief of his peers. Growing up in a challenging environment, he found himself drawn to the thrill of the illicit, the allure of the forbidden. This fascination culminated in his first major robbery at the tender age of 21. It was a daring act that set the stage for his future endeavors. The world of crime had claimed another soul, and Sutton was more than willing to dive headfirst into its murky depths. His audacious exploits would soon earn him a reputation, making him one of the most notorious criminals of his time. So, with a start like that, it was clear Sutton was headed for a life of crime. Scene script: Sutton didn't just stop at one bank. Oh no, he couldn't get enough. William Francis Sutton Jr., known as Willie Sutton, was not your average bank robber. His audacious heists were like scenes from a Hollywood movie, only they were real. Over a career spanning 4 decades, Sutton reportedly robbed more than 100 banks, amassing millions. Sutton's modus operandi was as unique as his personality. He was known to have used a variety of disguises to carry out his heists. One day he would walk into a bank dressed up as a policeman. The next he might appear as a postal telegraph messenger or even a maintenance man. His disguises were so convincing that he was often right under the police's nose, yet they failed to recognize him. His cunning didn't stop at disguises though. Sutton was a master of misdirection and deception. He had a knack for outsmarting the police, leaving them scrambling in his wake. He was once quoted as saying, "You can't rob a bank on charm and personality." But if anyone could, it was Sutton. He was meticulous in planning his heists, studying every detail of the bank layout, the routines of the staff, even the habits of the clients. He left nothing to chance. His heists were so well planned and executed that he was able to elude capture for years, earning the nickname Willie the Actor for his ability to blend into any role. But his crimes weren't victimless. Bank employees and customers were often left traumatized by his actions, and while he claimed to have never hurt anyone during his heists, the threat of violence was always there, hanging in the air like a dark cloud. But it wasn't just his robberies that made Sutton famous, it was his incredible ability to escape. His audacious breakouts from some of the most heavily guarded prisons would become as legendary as his heists, earning him another nickname, Slick Willie, and cementing his place in the annals of American crime history. Sutton was not only a master of disguise, but also a master of escape. In a world bound by iron bars and concrete walls, Willie Sutton found freedom in the most unlikely places. His knack for slipping through the cracks of the American penitentiary system was almost as legendary as his infamous bank heists. One of his most notable escapes was from the Eastern State Penitentiary, a fortress-like prison designed to be escape-proof. But to Sutton, escape-proof was merely a challenge. Using a makeshift ladder, he defied the odds and managed to climb over the towering walls of the penitentiary, leaving the authorities baffled and in awe of his audacity. Yet, that was not the only time Sutton managed to evade the grasp of the law. He was also known for his ability to blend in, to become a chameleon among the prison guards. During his time at the Philadelphia County Prison, he used this skill to his advantage. Dressing up as a prison guard, Sutton simply walked out of the prison as if he was ending his shift. His audacious act was so convincing that it was not until roll call that the prison officials realized one of their most notorious inmates had vanished. But these escapes were not mere stunts. They were meticulously planned and executed, showing Sutton's ingenuity and determination. He was a master of observation, studying the routines and habits of the prison staff, and using that knowledge to his advantage. He turned everyday objects into tools for his escape, proving that necessity truly is the mother of invention. And yet with each escape, Sutton's legend grew. He became a symbol of defiance, a man who refused to be confined by the system. But as audacious as these escapes were, they were merely a prelude to what was to come. But Sutton's most daring escape was yet to come. His most audacious escape came from the escape-proof Holmesburg prison. Now you might be wondering, how did Willie Sutton, a notorious bank robber, manage to break free from a prison that was touted as escape-proof? Well, the answer to that is as captivating as the man himself. Sutton, who had already proven his knack for slipping through the seemingly impenetrable fortresses of law enforcement, embarked on a daring plan. He didn't rely on brute force or sheer luck. Instead, he opted for a more laborious but effective method. With the help of other inmates, he began digging a tunnel. Yes, a tunnel right under the noses of the prison guards. This wasn't a haphazard job. Every detail was meticulously planned. The location was chosen to be a spot in the prison yard, hidden from the guards' view. The digging was done using makeshift tools, and the earth was disposed of in the prison yard, very subtly, almost invisibly. It was a slow, painstaking process that required immense patience and perseverance. But Sutton and his crew had plenty of both. After months of toil, the tunnel was finally ready. And then, on a fateful day, Sutton made his move. Slipping through the tunnel, he emerged on the other side of the prison walls, a free man once again. It was the most daring escape, from a prison that was deemed escape-proof. Sutton was on the run for 6 long years, evading the relentless pursuit of law enforcement. He moved from place to place, always one step ahead of the authorities. A master of disguises, Sutton blended into the crowd, living a life of anonymity. But as they say, all good things must come to an end. His freedom was cut short when he was eventually recaptured. Sutton was finally back behind bars, but not for long. The story of Willie Sutton, the elusive bank robber and escape artist, was far from over. His daring escapes had become the stuff of legends, and his most audacious escape from Holmesburg prison was a testament to his ingenuity and tenacity. Sutton's final years were a far cry from his days of daring heists and escapes. Having spent more than half his life behind bars, Willie Sutton was finally released from prison in 1969. He was 68 years old, and his days of dashing escapes and audacious bank robberies were behind him. But Sutton was not one to fade quietly into obscurity. Always a man of action, he embarked on a new chapter of his life, one that involved wielding a pen instead of a gun. He wrote 2 books, the first of which was titled, I, Willie Sutton. In it, he recounted his audacious exploits and the thrilling escapes, giving the readers a sneak peek into the mind of one of the most ingenious criminals in history. His second book, Where the Money Was more of a memoir, delving into his motivations, his life in and out of prison, and his reflections on his career as a bank robber. Sutton passed away in 1980 at the ripe old age of 79. He left behind a legacy that continues to fascinate and captivate. His life of crime, filled with daring heists and audacious escapes, has been romanticized in popular culture. He has been portrayed in films, TV shows, and even in a Broadway play. His infamous quote, "Because that's where the money is," in response to why he robbed banks, though disputed, has become a part of the cultural lexicon. Even in his final years, Sutton remained unapologetic about his life of crime. He once stated, "I am a man who likes to work, and the best work I ever did was robbing banks." He believed that his life was defined by his actions, not by societal norms. So there you have it. The life of Willie Sutton, the most ingenious bank robber in history. His story is a testament to the fact that sometimes the most compelling characters are not the ones we find in works of fiction, but in the annals of real life.